very destructive path, really, of narcissism and outright hatred towards the royal family.
Now, it's been 7 years since Meghan and Harry were married.
Peter Credlin, together with contributor Dan Wooten, go further, calling the ditch deal cataclysmic.
This is cataclysmic. This is a disaster. I mean, who do they blame for this? When they fell out with the royal family, they were able to say it were the horrible men in grey suits who were trying to hold us back, who were trying to stop us doing what we wanted to do. In fact, many of those men in grey suits said the same thing about Harry and Meghan.
What do you get when the world's most overexposed couple decides to crash one of the most high-profile arenas in America, completely uninvited? Oh, honey, you get drama, and not the kind they can control. Prince Harry and Meghan Markle strolled into the 2025 Lakers game like they were about to be crowned prom king and queen, but instead of cheers, they got hit with the cold, hard truth. America's not buying what they're selling anymore. Nobody stood, nobody clapped, the vibe, ice, cold. It was supposed to be a glitzy night of courtside glam and celeb sightings, but the second Harry and Meghan stepped into that arena, the entire energy shifted. What was meant to be a fun night turned into one giant, awkward PR disaster. They weren't just ignored, they were humiliated, booed, heckled, mocked. The very celebrities who once posted selfies with them were now throwing them side eyes and pretending they did. The crowd made their stance crystal clear. These two weren't rebels anymore, they were grifters. And worse, they were unwanted. The CryptoComs arena didn't care about royal blood. That night, it was all about vibes, and Meghan and Harry brought the worst kind.
Very destructive path, really, of narcissism and outright hatred towards the royal family.
Now, it's been 7 years since Meghan and Harry were married.
Once upon a time, they were the power couple redefining what royalty could be. Fresh, modern, free. But as they strutted into the arena in designer fits, expecting gasps of awe and admiration, what they got was a reality check so loud it shook the stadium. The second their faces popped up on the Jumbotron, the reaction was immediate and brutal. The crowd exploded in jeers, booing rained down like a thunderstorm. And then came the chants, "Traitors, go back to the U." And someone from the nosebleeds yelled, "Where's your crown now?" That one, it stung. Laughter followed. Harry's jaw clenched. Meghan's perfect smile faltered. This wasn't just uncomfortable, it was a public flogging.
Credlin, together with contributor Dan Wooten, go further, calling the ditch deal cataclysmic.
This is cataclysmic. This is a disaster. I mean, who do they blame for this? When they fell out with the royal family, they were able to say it were the horrible men in grey suits who were trying to hold us back, who were trying to stop us doing what we wanted to do. In fact, many of those men in grey suits said the same thing about Harry and Meghan.
And it just kept getting worse. Even A-listers who used to stand them turned their backs literally. No eye contact, no fake smiles, just cold shoulders and tighter lips. The boos at the game weren't just noise, they were symbolic. Hollywood had turned the lights off, and the message couldn't be louder. We're done. This wasn't just about two royals gate-crashing a Lakers game. Oh no. This was the culmination of years of side eyes, fake smiles, and mounting resentment. People had had enough. When they stepped back in 2020 and announced they were leaving royal life to find peace, the world leaned in. But instead of disappearing gracefully, they cranked up the volume. They said they wanted privacy, but what they really wanted was the camera lens pointed only at them. And the deals? All the deals poured in. Millions from Netflix, Spotify, book publishers, a healing memoir that somehow included frostbitten genitals and violent fights with Prince William. People saw the pattern. Drama, monetize, repeat. And they were exhausted. Hollywood isn't cruel, but it's fickle. And Meghan and Harry, they wore out their welcome.
The public began to feel emotionally manipulated. Their critics didn't see two survivors. They saw two professionals playing the PR game with military precision. Once they landed in California, the Sussexes leaned heavily into Hollywood's embrace. They secured multi-million-dollar deals with Netflix and Spotify. They launched Archewell. They mingled with A-list stars. But with each new deal, the focus shifted further away from—
It was like the red carpet had turned invisible. And insiders say it wasn't just shade, it was strategy. Word around town, Hollywood execs had started privately warning staffers and talent to keep their distance. The Sussexes were now considered toxic, a PR risk, a headline grenade waiting to explode, because associating with them no longer meant ratings. It meant reputation damage. And in Tinseltown, that's career suicide. They weren't just being ignored, they were being iced on purpose. The royal couple, who thought they'd taken America by storm, were now seen as a storm warning. And the real kicker? Even the very industry that helped platform their story. Streaming platforms, podcast networks, production companies, they've all gone suspiciously quiet. Remember the Netflix buzz? Gone. The Spotify glow? Extinguished. Even Megan's highly hyped docuseries flopped harder than a souffle in a sauna. Critics slammed it for being soulless, overproduced, and completely out of touch. It didn't feel like healing, it felt like hustling. By the time the Lakers drama unfolded, the mood had shifted permanently. And if there was any hope left that reconciliation with the royal family could be on the horizon, think again. Sources close to King Charles say he's done. Like done, door on door, slammed shut, phone lines dead, zero contact. Not even after Queen Elizabeth's passing did Harry or Meghan make a move to heal the rift. No handwritten letter, no olive branch, no quiet visit home. Just more cameras, more documentaries, more talking. And when someone yelled from the upper stands, "Go back to Netflix," oh, that became the audio meme of the week. You couldn't scroll without seeing a remix, a parody, or a Karma's Real comment section with thousands of likes. It was brutal, like public dragging on a global scale brutal. Even Hollywood's Done With Them started trending, and that wasn't just a hashtag, that was a reality. Because this backlash, it wasn't just from royalists or angry Brits. This was global. People from all over, LA to London, Sydney to South Africa, jumped in. Even former Sussex supporters started side-eyeing. The general vibe, you wanted the fame, now deal with the fallout. And just when you thought it couldn't get worse, royal commentators chimed in, like sharks smelling blood in the water. Headlines used words like fall from grace, meltdown, and even irrelevant. Yikes! You know what else added salt to the wound? The comparisons. While Harry was sitting courtside looking like he just bit into a lemon, photos of Prince William and Princess Catherine were circulating, doing charity work, shaking hands with hospital workers, and smiling with kids in wheelchairs. The internet didn't miss a beat. Side-by-side collages, tweets saying, one royal serves the people, the other serves himself. Ouch. And let's talk about the family Harry walked away from. Remember when he told the world he had to leave the UK because it wasn't safe for Meghan and their kids? Well, even that blew up in his face after the UK courts ruled that Harry wasn't entitled to the same taxpayer-funded security anymore. What did he do? He ran to the BBC, called it an establishment stitch-up, and basically accused the monarchy of throwing him to the wolves. But the public? They weren't buying it. They were tired. Tired of the constant victim narratives, tired of the one-sided sob stories, tired of watching someone who voluntarily left the royal family now complain about not having royal perks. There was no accountability, just more poor me interviews, and people were over it. Even royal experts admitted they'd never seen the public turn so fast. From 2020 sympathy to 2025 silence, it was a 180 of epic proportions. So here's what we're left with. A couple who started their new chapter with hope, only to burn through public goodwill like a match to paper. And now, they're stuck in a Hollywood that doesn't want them and a royal family that doesn't need them. Because if Harry thought walking away would give him peace, he was wrong. What he got instead was loneliness. And maybe, just maybe, he's finally starting to realize it. You could see it in his eyes at that Lakers game. He wasn't angry, he looked lost. Like a man who gave everything up and didn't get what he thought he would. No crown, no applause, no allies, just viral clips and deafening boos. And Meghan? Oh, you could tell she was trying to hold the illusion together. But when the camera zoomed in, that flicker in her eyes said it all. Even she knew this was different. This wasn't paparazzi noise, this was a reckoning. Want to know what made this so much worse? The one thing that really sealed the deal? The silence. Not the awkward silence in the arena. We're talking about the silence afterward. Where were the statements? The allies? The sources close to the couple spinning the story? Nowhere. Not even a week, they're fine from their team. Because everyone knew this wasn't fixable with PR fluff. This was embarrassment on a historic level. And now, here's the million-dollar question circulating all over Hollywood, royal Twitter, and newsrooms around the globe. What happens now? Does Harry retreat? Does Meghan rebrand? Do they finally apologize to the family they've publicly trashed for years? Or do they double down again and try to spin this flop into another documentary? Insiders say Harry might be plotting a reinvention, a new chapter, maybe get serious about real charity work, maybe try to win the public back by doing, not talking. But that comeback is going to be a steep climb. The damage is that deep. He's not just dealing with royal drama anymore. He's got worldwide fatigue to battle, and people aren't so quick to forget. You burned bridges, exposed secrets, weaponized trauma, and expected applause? That might have worked in 2020, but not in 2025. Now, even fans want to see growth, accountability, humility, and so far, we've seen none. The sympathy well has run dry. And when Harry looked down at the floor of that stadium as boos echoed around him, that wasn't just awkward, that was the moment it all hit him. The fame, the attention, the millions. It couldn't protect him from the truth anymore. The world had moved on. So where does this royal soap opera go now? After being publicly humiliated in front of thousands at the Lakers game and millions more online, the question isn't what's next for Harry and Meghan, it's does anyone even care anymore? Because this isn't just about two people fumbling fame. This is about how quickly the world stops clapping when the performance starts feeling fake. The moment Harry and Meghan thought they could ride the wave of global adoration forever was the moment they miscalculated badly. You can't scream "leave us alone" and then sign multi-million-dollar deals to talk about everything. You can't condemn the monarchy and still expect to be treated like royalty in Beverly Hills. That kind of hypocrisy, it has a shelf life. And babe, that shelf is expired. By now, it's not even just about the scandals, it's about the vibe, the energy, because let's be real, the Kardashians have scandal. The housewives have drama, but they own it. Harry and Meghan, they want the drama without the consequences. They want the headlines but cry when they go viral. They want the platform but complain about scrutiny. You can't have it both ways, not in 2025. And you definitely can't walk into an arena like the Crypto.com Center uninvited and expect to be treated like Beyonce. Instead, they got treated like tabloid fodder. And honestly, it's what they've become. Even Meghan's reinvention plans aren't landing. She thought a feel-good Netflix lifestyle series would soften her image, give her a fresh chapter, something that screamed empowerment and modern Duchess vibes. But what did the public get? A glossy, hollow, painfully polished version of her that felt more like an infomercial than authenticity. Critics were savage, audiences were bored, it wasn't inspiring, it wasn't raw, it wasn't even relatable, it was branding. And people are tired of being sold a story that doesn't match the reality. Harry's turn didn't fare much better. His BBC interview, the one where he slammed the royal institution again and claimed he couldn't ever safely bring his family back to the UK, it landed with a thud. What was supposed to stir empathy only stirred eye rolls. Viewers called it dramatic, British media called it manipulative, and the royal family, silent, as always, because at this point, Charles and William have learned silence hurts more than words. Harry wants a fight. The palace just moved on. And honestly, that hurts worse. Because here's the truth. Harry doesn't look powerful anymore. He looks desperate. Desperate to stay relevant. Desperate to be heard. Desperate to control a narrative that keeps slipping through his fingers. And Meghan, she's clinging to a public image that's been crumbling under the weight of contradictions. Remember when they were seen as brave? Now they're just seen as loud. Remember when people admired their strength? Now they question their motives. And all of that came to a head that night at the Lakers game when the spotlight finally turned on them, not to celebrate, but to expose. No applause, no allies, just boos, silence, and viral shame. And let's not forget the elephant in the room, the royal comparisons. On one side, Prince William and Princess Catherine, steady, dignified, beloved. On the other, Harry and Meghan, chaotic, controversial, polarizing. The contrast couldn't be sharper. While William and Kate quietly carry out royal duties with grace, Harry is on a podcast talking about mushrooms and trauma. But Meghan is on Netflix talking about Meghan. One side is serving duty, the other, drama. And the world is watching very closely, because love them or hate them, the working royals are still standing, still respected, still supported. Harry and Meghan, their empire feels more like a shaky influencer brand teetering on a PR cliff. And let's not forget how it all started. In 2020, they walked away. They told the world, "We want peace." And the world said, okay. But instead of disappearing quietly, they became louder, more visible, more calculated. Tell-all interviews, explosive books, overproduced docuseries, branding, buzzwords, clickbait, and what's left. Two people who can't seem to stop talking while wondering why no one's listening anymore. So what now? Do they apologize? Do they go quiet? Do they try to reintroduce themselves again? Insiders say a rebranding could be coming, that Harry wants to focus on charity, that Meghan may shift into wellness and lifestyle full-time, less tell-all, more toned down. But will it work? Will people buy the new image, or has the damage already been done? Because when even Hollywood, which thrives on scandal, starts walking away, that says something. Not even Oprah has called, not even Reese Witherspoon threw them a "We love you" IG story, not even Tyler Perry, their once protector, has said a word publicly in over a year. That silence is loud, and it's saying exactly what we're all thinking. The dream is over. What started as a fairy tale has ended in viral humiliation. The couple who once had the world's attention now barely has its sympathy. The shine is gone, the narrative is broken, and unless there's a complete transformation of tone, action, and humility, this could be the beginning of a much darker chapter. Because fame without respect is nothing, and royalty without grace is just PR.